Okay, aloha, happy Monday. Okay, good. Someone took their treat. Next treat goes to Miss Pia. And the last treat goes to Wrigley, who's waiting way over there for some reason. So, aloha, gang. Hopefully, they'll be quiet for about 10, 15 minutes and all. At least gives me a chance to say hi to y'all. And then after that, we just hope Crisp does its job and keeps things quiet without the barking in the background. So, hey, aloha, gang. Sorry, yeah, poor Kimberly was sitting in chat, and all of a sudden I'm looking up. I had chat open, but in the corner underneath a bunch of windows. You guys should see all the windows I have open right now. And all of a sudden I look over there and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to say hi. So hi, Kim. And also, and we've got Cluck Cluck Chicken Lady here too. Second time I got to see you today, huh? And yeah, if I'm blaming Robbie for the fact that I am not as put together as I normally am for a live. Not like I'm ever really well put together for a live to begin with, but yeah, went live earlier and we were having fun talking about also. I mean, we were talking about food and we got talking about balut, for which if you never know what balut is, it's a Filipino dish. You might not want to go look at what it is. Be prepared. Yeah, not something a lot of people really want to know about. And but actually my sister-in-law has eaten it though. So but anyhow, we were having a fun live over there, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I cannot research and sit in a live at the same time. This is why I don't end up in lives a lot of times, because I cannot research and be in a live at the same time. I can only do one thing at a time. Big problem there. But hello, hello, my dear Kim. I love having you in there. I love seeing, as soon as I pop in and I see you in there, it's like I get the big hibiscus flowers in there that you put in and all that. So, and we've got Cluck Cluck Chicken Lady. How's Keiki doing, by the way? I was thinking about Keiki the other day. And for those of you who don't know, head over to Chicken Ladies. She has a bunch of chickens that she names as chicks after different YouTubers. And Keiki is the one that we named for our channel. And she's got baby goats. She's got all sorts of fun, cool little things. I wish I lived on a farm. No, I don't, because I wouldn't want to do all the work. But otherwise, I'd love to play with all the animals. That's for sure. So, and there, Miss. Hello, 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 Ocean Tide. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we got JP in the house. Hello, JP. How you doing? What? Keiki is laying eggs now? Keiki can be a mommy. Keiki's wanted to be a mommy since day one, it seems like. So she's going to be a happy mommy now. So we'll have to see how she deals with the eggs. I mean, the babies. Okay, what does she deal with them? Or, okay, or does she like, hey, want them? Take them back. Take the egg. Hatch it yourself. And also, Sleuth Mom, thank you. Thank you for your help with this one. There were some things as I was putting this together. Sleuth and I started talking about Jessica last week, Wednesday, and she's still missing. Okay, for those of you who don't know Jessica's case, we are going to go through a lot of it today. And she's been missing since August 1st, guys. Okay, and unfortunately, she did not get reported missing. Okay, by her, well, it took her mom to report her missing. Okay, her husband had not seen her for a while, but did not report her missing. And we'll get into that. That's a different issue completely. And, but a lot of things going on in this case, guys. And there's a couple different possibilities of what is going on here. I am not going to jump straight into, oh, this is what happened, or this is what, okay, because there could be different possibilities here. And you guys know how I always stand. There's always hope. And there is hope. And Ocean, yes, Loose live this morning. I started watching it when I woke up, and then someone else went live. So I got to go back to rewatch the rest of it. But Sleuth talked about Adam Rank, the a-hole who is currently on the run, and we are trying to find him before he hurts another child. He is the one that we talked about last week on Friday. I don't know if I have this. Let's see real quickly what's here. Let me see. I don't think I have anything with, there we go. This is Adam. This is who we're looking for. We're trying to get the word out about him still being out there. He has hurt at least two children on two different coasts. And unfortunately, he bonded out of jail before Alabama was able to realize that he was being investigated in other areas. And so please, please, okay, if you haven't shared that poster or spoken with someone about it, please do share that out because this is one of those cases. He could be in any of the states. Okay, he could be anywhere. He could be Canada, to be honest. He could be Mexico. Okay, I guess he could be Hawaii, but I doubt it. But anywhere on the mainland, he's hiding somewhere, and the chances are he's hiding out in areas that most people don't even know to look for him. So, so what we got here from oh, you didn't notice you're on the see, I've got you modded on both of them though. See, that's it. So, and but anyhow, let me take that down. I'm happy I actually had that still up. But let's go ahead. I need to start sharing some information about who we're going to talk about, Jessica. Let me ask real quickly in chat, put a 1 in chat if you have heard Jessica's story. And there go the dogs barking. Hopefully Crisp is working. Put a 2 in chat if you have not heard about Jessica. There are a few people out there who are talking about Jessica right now. A couple channels that are talking about her. As I mentioned, Sleuth and I actually covered her a little on Wednesday last week over on Sleuth's channel. 1 second, I'm trying to pull up her poster. Here we go. Okay, so we got some people who this is a new case for. And so this is Jessica. Jessica's from Pendleton, South Carolina, not Camp Pendleton. The first time I heard Jessica from Pendleton, my mind went towards Pendleton, Camp Pendleton. No, totally different area of the country. This is in South Carolina. And and what is scary here is she has been missing now since August 1st. Think about all the things you have done since August 1st. We're September 23rd right now. We're almost on to October 1st, 2 months. All the things you've done, and in that time period, she's been missing, and no one's been talking about it. And in honesty, no one even knew she was missing until her mom stepped up and reported her, or actually requested a wellness check on September 10th. Okay, now it's possible for people to go missing that long and no one reported. I mean, if you live alone or things like that, she doesn't live alone. She lives with her husband. Okay, she's been separated from family and all long enough that, in fact, from my understanding, they thought there was some confusion over posters and all because people were talking about her ex-boyfriend, but actually they got married earlier this year and people didn't even know about it. So there's some stuff that we will talk about because there is some very high potential of DV going on in this case. And whenever you're talking about DV and a disappearance, your mind kind of goes to two different angles. And that's what I wanted to address real quickly here is those two different areas. One side is, yes, okay, fingers start pointing. Okay, did so-and-so do something to so-and-so? Okay, that happens. Okay, when we were talking Misha. Okay, did he do something? Okay, did he do something to her and all that? But there's also the other side, and we talked about this with Misha also. Did the person decide to leave? Did they get up and did they walk away? Did they go somewhere where they can be safe? In fact, someone mentioned to me during the time that Misha went missing initially that they had heard of cases where a person runs away from a DV situation into a confidential setting. And that confidential setting cannot actually step up and say, oh, yes, we have so-and-so here, because it's part of that confidentiality and protection for the woman, man, children, whoever it is who's in the situation. And in fact, we had to look into it to find out, well, how can you go about? Because at the same time, if someone's missing, can law enforcement at least get this information? And they can, but you'd probably have to go through legal steps to get to that. So there's always a chance that she could still be out there in hiding right now, trying to build up her strength again after time that, I'll be honest, I do think we have DV involved in this case, hands down. And so it is a really, really sad story, very sad story in this case. And and yeah, I just the fact that it was reported this late is one of the reasons why I had major issues with this. You live in a house with roommates and a husband, and no one reports you missing? Hey, AP, welcome, 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 AP. And no one reports you missing? It takes a mom to step up and say, you know what? I have not heard from my daughter in a while. Okay. Or in this case, there is a text message and she's like, just like in many other cases, I'll mention Misha again. Okay. Misha's family is getting text messages, not phone calls. Never a phone call. It's always a text message. And something doesn't feel right about the text message. And their gut starts screaming that something's wrong here. I'm not hearing her voice. Okay, I haven't seen her. Something's wrong, and then they call something in. So back to the poster here. So she was last known, according to here, August 3rd was the last sighting. I have August 1st in a lot of my information, so I'm not sure here on that. But let's just say 1st through 3rd. Near the exit 19 off of Interstate 85. Sleuth, if you have any idea on that one, okay, the 1st versus the 3rd. I'm hearing both dates for the last time she was seen. The lateness is super sketchy, JP. Super sketchy. Even if you, okay, feel someone may have left for one reason, but plus, wait until you hear more. The sketchiness gets even more so in that the stories that connect with the sketchiness. Okay, most almost report immediately. Exactly. Because you want to make sure that person is okay. Tell their family. If they left the house or something, you want to make sure the family at least know that they left the house and there was nothing like that. She's 20 years old, 5'4" and 185 pounds. She is absolutely the sweetest looking thing. I mean, the first time I saw her picture, she seems like one of those girls I would have wanted to be one of my friends back in college days. Okay, she seems so sweet. And okay, there's just something about her when you look at her. Blonde hair, blue-green eyes. She does wear glasses. Okay, you can tell by the pictures here that sometimes she has those glasses on, sometimes not. And but she does have two different pair, which you can see in the two different photos here. Hey, Red Rocks. You have heard about this Red Rock where we talked? Yeah, we talked a little bit on Wednesday about this, and I wanted to kind of give her a little bit more of a focused live when we weren't talking about other people. And but I do appreciate they gave us pictures of both sets of glasses here so we can actually see what she looks like, because just looking at this, you can tell the dark glasses make her look different than the clear glasses. And anyone who's worn glasses before know exactly how that happens. Okay, one pair of glasses can make you look totally, utterly different. So right now, the case is being investigated basically by two groups in unison. They've come together. One is the Pendleton Police Department, and the other is the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, which is also known as SLED. So if you hear the word SLED in the discussion coming up, that's what SLED is. It is a South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. So let's go ahead, and while I have this stuff up, she was last seen wearing flip-flops, orange t-shirt, dark jeans, and carrying a black backpack. She has had no communication or contact with friends or family. She has not been posting to social media, which is something even the police are saying is extremely not normal for her to go this long without communicating on social media. As I said, At the time of her disappearance, she was married, and police have acknowledged that she and her husband were having problems. Okay. Her mom describes her as artistic and intelligent. She quotes as she loved God first of all, and she is an artist. She likes to write songs and everything. She's very bubbly and smart, and that's kind of what I get when I look at these pictures, especially the one picture that's larger there. That's completely what I get when I look at that. And she was last seen now. Okay, as we go through this, let me pull up real quickly for you guys a map of you can relate, JP. Is that it? And Kim is saying I sensed something really wrong if hubby failed. And that's what is driving me crazy here is the lack to begin with, the lack of reporting anything. She does see that's it. That's it. Chicken Lee, she has that hippie soul, that carefree, soul. That's it exactly right there. Let me pull up for you guys, and I'm going to pull this up a couple times, but I wanted to share with you on Google Earth a little bit about the area we're talking about. So this is Pendleton, South Carolina. So we're talking back on the East Coast, where most of you guys are 6 hours ahead of me. And they live in the city of Pendleton. Let me make sure this is showing great. Yes, it is. Woo, I don't want to do that. Okay, so there we go. They live on this little street right here, Laurel Drive. That's where they've been. And we are going to go, as we talk about this, you will hear about recently happened last week. Actually, there was a search of that house. It seems, if you're looking closer, fairly large areas of land around them for a small city. Okay, I'm used to where everything's back to back to back, so there's large yards and stuff. Houses aren't necessarily right smashed up against each other. JP is saying hippie souls rock, so do unicorns. And yeah, I love the hippie soul in people. You can see here automatically though a lot of wooded areas, which do worry you. And the other area of note comes way down here, a little to the south, and we're going to mention this later because police did do a search in this area also. And as we get into the actual timeline a bit, you're going to hear me talk about the Twin Lakes boat ramp. Okay, that is the last place a vehicle that was being driven by her husband. Now, I do want to clarify this. Police have said her husband is not a suspect. Okay, they are still investigating and they're still interviewing, but they have not named him as a suspect, okay, at this time. But they do know he drove a vehicle to this area, okay, and they went to go visit that. So those are three of the area, well, the town and the two areas I will point out as we go into this. Hey, Robbie, I just told everyone you're to blame for me not being as prepped and ready for this live. I had so much fun though. Oh my God, that was one of the more fun lives I've had in a while. So thank you. And Johnny, JP, unicorn souls create from nothing. Is that? I was trying to think. Okay, what's a? I've heard the term unicorn soul, and okay, there you go. Yeah, and I think anything is, and we need to remember anything is positive. Anything is possible. Okay, there is hope in this case. She could still be out there, and if she is, her family loves her, and her family wants her back home. Okay, if she is out there, she tried to get away from what looks to be a really bad relationship. Okay, it's hard to leave a DV situation, and leaving takes a lot of guts. It really does. It's not easy. And they just want her. Okay, they want her home right now. And now So the last she was seen was at her house on Laurel Avenue. Okay, Laurel Drive. Okay, that one area I was talking about. That's the last place that I originally was told she was seen. I did just see with the thing that there could have been another place also there. Um, After she went missing, people around started asking questions. Where is she? What? Neighbors. Oh, hey, I haven't seen Jessica around in a while. What's been going on? Okay, a lot of questions like that. And her husband, whose name is Brandon Barnes, he has a Facebook page that he was posting very actively on. He's been gotta run, JP. Love you, my dear. Take care. Take care, my dear. Love you, love you. This husband sounds like he's well, and we are going to get into that because there is a past history with a previous relationship that I am going to go into also once we go through the timeline here. And you have to pull. Now, just because you have a something in the past doesn't mean it will happen again in the future. But it definitely is a massive red flag for potential of it happening again in the future. And it's something that has to be taken into play. You have to know, okay, this is what's happened in the past. So it does increase the possibilities. It is not a guarantee. But I can tell you, he has been on Facebook posting like crazy, okay, responding and putting himself into all this stuff and not in the way of, okay, we're searching today or we're posting posters or stuff like that, like you see with so many other family members. And we will be getting to that, Astro. We will be getting to that. Okay, a little later in the live, after I get through the timeline and everything. Because I don't want people jumping that portion in too much until we get to the point. And then, oh yeah, and he's been very heavy into the point of when people are making comments, okay, they're just he words things and stuff like that. Just make my alarm bells go off. There's just something about the way he brings things up and stuff like that. Why are you saying sorry, my dear? No, don't you say sorry. Actually, it's important. It's important to have all this stuff. And that's why I'm happy you said it because it's good for people to know the basics as we're going into this. And so, first set of red flags that I got was when she first went missing. Okay. And we're going to watch a video in a second. However, when she first went missing, he started getting people asking, where is she? Okay. We haven't seen Jessica around the neighborhood lately. Where is she? And all that. He initially went and told people, well, you know what? Her dad is in Romania and she went to go visit him in Romania. And so that was one story we started getting at the beginning. Well, I can tell you right now, police, as part of their investigation, actually went to Homeland Security and they were able to verify she never went to Romania. Okay, there's no evidence of her going to Romania. Okay, on top of that, okay, he told police when he started talking to police that she went to Michigan. Well, everyone that they've spoken to from Michigan has not seen her. They haven't heard from her. None of that. Now, could she have gone to Michigan and just not talked to someone she knows? Yes. It's very possible. Okay. It's always possible. Astro, I understand your thoughts there. Totally. But it's always possible. She could have gone to Michigan and all, but it is again very, very interesting that no one has spoken to her that she might have known from that area. And so on set, so that was August 1st on, we had nothing. No communication, no nothing. September 10th is when this officially kicks off. And that's exactly. She could have, okay, gone to Romania. She could have gone to the other place, all these things. But why would he say, oh, well, Romania? Oh, no, now this, now that. There's just too many inconsistencies when that starts popping up. Okay. And it's something just, again, red flags are just that. They're just flags. They're not proof of one thing or another. But you get enough of those red flags popping up, it just starts increasing your concerns. And so the next big date that pops up is September 10th. Okay. This is when her mom, Jessica's mom, gets to the point where she's like, something is wrong here. I have not heard from my daughter, well, verbally heard from my daughter on the phone. Okay. And now not only have I not heard from her, but her husband, as we now know, is also not returning any messages. He's not getting back in touch with me when I ask questions or anything like that. And she's alerted at that point. So she calls up and asks for a wellness check. That wellness check is what kicks off this whole thing. This is the first that law enforcement know that Jessica is missing. Okay. September 10th, 1 month, 10 days later, 5 weeks later is when she's finally realizing, okay, well, everyone's realizing that this gorgeous young woman is missing. And so I'm going to real quickly pull up a article, well, video actually. Let's see. So we can play this, and you're going to hear bits and pieces of what I talked about, as well as some other information. But I want to pull this together so you can see her mom, okay, and hear a little bit about what's going on. Now, what is important connected to this was, I think, 4 days ago. Let me check. I think it was 4 days ago. Sorry, let me check. 4 days, yes. And the community put together a prayer vigil. So they came together and decided we're going to, okay, we hear her mom say that she loved God, first of all. Okay, faith was something important to her. So coming together in a prayer vigil just makes sense. And it gets the word out, which is what they did here on this. So I'm going to play this video real quickly. It will also kind of show you some of the neighborhood outside of Google Earth, which is kind of nice to be able to see. So here,
20-year-old Jessica Barnes, who was last seen more than 40 days ago in Anderson County.
Her mother is pleading with her daughter to come back home. Our Ray Urena joins us live with more on this. Ray.
That vigil will be held right here in just under an hour. But in the meantime, flyers like this are posted all across the square as a mother and a family hope their loved one will find her way home.
It's tragic.
Cecilia Varvara describing what the last month and a half has been.
This is mom. Cecilia Varvara is mom.
And for her family since her daughter went missing. 20-year-old Jessica Barnes was last seen in early August, leaving her home on Laurel Drive in Pendleton.
She loved God, first of all, and she's an artist. She likes to write songs and everything. She's very bubbly and smart. And
Thursday, law enforcement officers were searching a wooded area near the Twin Lakes boat ramp.
So this is near the Twin Lakes boat ramp, the one that I showed you that was off kind of to the southwest of the area. So, and you could tell from that just why they'd be concerned. You've got water in the area. You've got trees and trees and trees and more trees in the area. Okay, it's definitely one of the places that you would want to check out right away. Now, why is this important, this area? Police have some evidence that they've pulled together. Okay, they pulled things, they've got access to her phone, they know where it last pinged, things like that. One of the things that they do have is proof that Jessica and her husband's roommate's car was used to go to this location. Okay, and that location was able to be coordinated with the husband's cell phone at the same time. So phone records show him driving that vehicle to this location, which is why they made the decision, we need to go take a look at this area. Now, again, he is not named as a suspect at this point. It looks like it was. I kind of got a little confused because they said they know where it was last pinged and stuff like that. And so all of that was there. But I also found one area where the police said that they do have her phone. So I'm not sure if what they mean by they had her last ping, they were able to figure out where she last was with the phone. Okay, before it ended up back home or something like that. That's what I'm kind of thinking. They're not sharing all that information though, which is good. Yeah, they need to hold this stuff tight, but it is enough to let us know that there's a lot more going on right now.
Police Chief Robert Crosby says that's where a vehicle she frequently drove was pinged.
There was some issues with her and her husband. They were having the typical marital, disputes, argumentative, and then she just left, according to.
Police say at this time, Barnes's husband is not a suspect in the case. As the search continues, Varvara has a message for her daughter.
If you see this, know that you're loved, and we're waiting for you to give me a phone call as soon as you get this. And know that your father and your siblings are worrying, and I'm worrying about you and your safety.
Marie, of course, a lot of unanswered questions here as the community is desperately searching for Jessica. What else are police saying about her disappearance?
Sydney, police say that at the time that Barnes left her house, she didn't tell her husband or her two roommates where she was going. But the police say that the community has been giving a lot of tips during this investigation, and they are grateful for that. They are asking anybody else with information to call them immediately. Reporting live in Pendleton, Ray.
Okay, so that was shared out 4 days ago in coordination with the prayer vigil. Actually, Chicken Lady, one of the things that we are going to talk about was on September 20th. So last week, 3 days ago, there was a search of their house. And the only thing that I've been able to pull, yeah, exactly, Astra. And that's the thing. They don't name people suspect until they're able to prove it. And we all know that. I still hold on to hope. I'm just one of those. I'm one of those who will always hold on to hope. But yes, you are exactly right. You are exactly right, Astro. And yeah, the family in this case. You've got family members, okay, in Romania. You've got family here and all that. But to go to what I was saying to Chicken Lady, according to this, the one thing that I did get from September 20th's search, they searched the house. Pendleton PD and SLED searched the house. They recovered several items, including her phone, is what the article said. So now we all know news can say things and they think they heard it right and they didn't hear it right or stuff like that. Okay, how many times have I even caught myself with that? I hear something on mainstream media, so I think it's right, and then I find out later on no. That, Kim, that's kind of where I'm thinking too at this point. And but right now, I know the family they're having to walk both lines probably. Okay, it was like Misha's family until they knew which direction they had to go. They walked both lines. Okay, at first they walked the line that, yeah, no, she's missing. And then it's like, wait, now her husband isn't talking anymore. In Misha's case, it could be either. And then it became what it became. And, but we never know. We never know. I mean, literally, I don't know if any of you guys heard this story. I just came across it over the weekend. So just recently, a person, I think it was a boy, disappeared in a park when he was 6 years old. 6 years old. This, I think, was California. He was just found 70 years later. 76 years old. He's been missing for 70 years. How they found him was, in this case, DNA. Ancestry.com, 23andMe, that type of thing. 70 years later. Okay, most people after 70 years would have given up hope, but here he is. And I just, that story, when I came across it, those are the, you saw it, Red Rock? When I saw that pop up on my phone, I think it came across my phone yesterday. I literally, those are the stories that help us remember hope is eternal. Hope is there, and it will always be there. And I thought that I had solved a case once, only to realize the initial news report had, and that's the thing, and it frustrates me so much at times because I have that happen all the time, even though I'm so careful about what I'm looking at. Okay, and trying to make sure, like right now even, it's like, wait, was she missing since August 1st or August 3rd? So you try to walk that line as much as you can. And so anyhow, September 10th came, mom reports, okay, the wellness check, and her reasonings for that, like I said, okay, they're not getting, okay, any phone calls from her. All of a sudden now he has stopped contacting her. Mr. Barnes has stopped contacting her and responding to phone calls, text messages, and all that. Now, what is interesting, on September 10th, she also received a text message from Jessica. However, she said exactly what Misha's family said, and how many other names I could list, of someone saying, yeah, it came from her phone, but it did not sound like her. And that's what her mom was saying. This was a text from Jessica, but it did not sound like Jessica. Now, I don't know what she means by that. What is her thought process? Is it the language? Is it the shortness, the length of the message? Could be anything. But as a mom, she's like, that's not my daughter. And now I'm not sure if she received that text before the wellness call or after the wellness call. Okay, I find it interesting. It popped up on the same day, almost as if I wonder in the back of my head, pure speculation right now, did mom contact him or whoever and have that phone and say, you know what, I'm calling in a wellness check or something like that because I'm not getting any answers. I'm calling the police. And then all of a sudden the text message showed up. I don't know. I really don't know. But that is definitely alarming right there. And unfortunately, something we see quite often. So September 10th is the last that I have a lot of stuff happening that's verifiable until the searches began. And now in between that time, I will be honest with you, family, friends were her voice. They were the ones going out there and giving her a voice. And I know there are some other things, those of you who've been following this story, that happened with this that I'm not necessarily touching on, just so you know. However, they were there. They were giving her a voice. They were going to Facebook, making sure everyone knew that she was out there, that she's missing, that we're trying to find her. And on September 19th, okay, so last week, what day? Last week, Thursday, the law enforcement is now at the point where they're like, okay, we're doing some searches. We've been able to do enough investigation, 9 days, to say we need to look at these places. Like I said before, they recognize that the couple's roommate's car, so they have a roommate, and that person's car was tracked to a location that both Jessica and her husband would frequent. That location being the Twin Lakes boat ramp. Okay, so they find the car there, and then in looking at phone records and all, they recognize that Brandon Barnes has also been there at the same exact time, which basically puts him in that vehicle. So they immediately go out there to do a search. Okay, they've got water to deal with, they've got the woods to deal with, all of that, and they did the search for that area. What we got here sounds similar as Lori Daybell trial. Their son received text. Yeah, So many times we hear about those text messages that just don't sound right. And we all know, I know there's been times that I've actually used my mom's phone. Okay, maybe I'm doing an update on my phone and I have a family text group between my mom, my brother, and I need to reply real quickly to my brother with something, and I'll write a comment real quickly, and he's like, "Mom, is that you or is that Cindy?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sorry, me," because you realize when it's not the person you think it is, and so there could be multiple. Yes, and that's the other thing that a lot of people are starting to wonder about. Okay, I haven't looked deeper into that side yet, but I have seen rumblings about that. Could there be other? Because again, it's not just the husband who did not report her missing during this time. There are other people who did not report her missing. Okay, it'd be like, in all honesty, if I was living in a house with someone who goes missing, I'd probably be reporting them, not waiting for the husband to do it, to be honest. That's me. I don't know. Maybe I'm not like everyone else, but I'm thinking. Okay, yes, Ocean Tide and Red Rock. Isn't it great that I think about this with Momka's case right now and how many other cases, Stephen Stearns. Yeah, it's great to know that some criminals out there are not geniuses and or are narcissists, and that goes above their intelligence level. So yeah, put it that way. Um, so that's going on the 19th. Now the next day, they serve a search warrant on the house of the two. Okay, and the roommate. So Pendleton PD and SLED now go into the house. Now to show you this, I've got a little bit of video. Let me see real quickly so I get the right one. Here we go. This is just helicopter video real quickly. Turn it off so you can't hear it. So this is the neighborhood itself. And you can see law enforcement there. From my understanding, there were certain areas they tended to focus in on during that search. And they did come away with a couple pieces of a couple things that they needed to look into more. We know they are now tracing her electronic devices. In some cases, that has required getting search warrants, finding out, okay, of course, we know if you're going to go in and try to get information on some of these different platforms, you got to get a search warrant connected with it. So you can see here where they were looking at the vehicle, really checking that vehicle out, going into the house, looking around that area. So they do have some, this is where we were told they have her phone. So again, unless there's a miscommunication somewhere, that's where that goes. They were also, I've heard, very focused on this area out back. Looks to me, I may be wrong, it looks like a filled-in swimming pool from one time. Not like recently filled in or anything, but it looks like someone had a swimming pool there at the house at one time and then decided we don't need a swimming pool anymore. Going into the back near the sheds, stuff like that, just trying to check and make sure that they're not missing anything at this point. Now, this happened September 20th. Today's the 23rd. So that's Friday. Today would have been the first real business day of getting into a lot of the documents and a lot of the evidence that they may have pulled at that time. So if there is anything connected to the search, I think, kind of like in Mamta's case, we're probably not going to hear much for another couple days. And then as results start coming back as to whether or not anything is actual evidence of something, then they'll be able to move forward, whatever that looks like. But you can definitely tell here they're very focused in this backyard area. I have not heard anything about them coming back today or anything like that. In fact, that was one thing I kept kind of looking at. Yeah, you can see it too. You're seeing it also. Yeah, you can see where the steps were. You can see where the little signs saying like 6 feet, 3 feet, whatever. Okay, 1 meter, whatever. You can see all of that within that area. Now, how they filled it in, God only knows how they did that. Okay. Couple different options on what they could have done. But definitely focused in that backyard area. So I'm sure we'll hear more about that. As of today, okay, Monday, September 13th, police are still saying they're investigating this as a missing persons case. Okay. They have no evidence of foul play at this point. And as long as that is being said, guys, there's hope she is out there. The other side of domestic violence is she may have been very scared and gotten up one day and ran. And now that she's been either trying to refocus her life and feel safe again. There's a lot of things that could be happening here. And it's important for us to remember that. And exactly, until there's a reason to not say it, we have to we have to realize there is hope. And we do know there is definitely potential of domestic violence in this. Not only is there discussion about it, between family, friends, things like that, and even the police saying they were not having a great relationship at the time. They were fighting and stuff like that. But they also have, it's just, there's that option that she could have run. And like I said, confidential locations like that cannot just offer up, oh yeah, we have her here. They can't do that. Red Rock, is she and her family U.S. citizens? I don't know the answer to that. I know her dad. I'm trying, and that's it. That's where our prayers come in. No matter what, the prayers need to really be there. I think her dad is in Romania. Her mom's here. I don't know, honestly, whether they are or not. Let me pull up one more article, a video, and then after that video, we are actually going to talk a little bit about. We'll talk about that after. We'll talk a little bit about the past and past DV. There is a ex who has popped up who has 2 children with Brandon, who has said she underwent abuse at his hands. And we are going to mention a couple of the things that she has stepped up, and shared with everyone, because she feels that she sees a lot of similarities between, or potential similarities between, what she went through and what she feels that Jessica most likely went through over the last few months, and why she would have potentially left or something worse, either way. So, but let me pull this one other video up real quick. And this is connected to the actual, where is this? Police sled, here it is. Okay, the actual search. From this was actually 3 days ago, and this is when they did the search of the home. And so just to share that part with you guys.
News this afternoon out of Pendleton. The Pendleton police chief says authorities are investigating at the home of Jessica Barnes.
The 20-year-old has been missing since.
There's one reason, just so you know, one reason why I'm kind of a little bit more open to sharing her story, and which I'll explain.
The 1st of August, and today both Pendleton police as well as SLED were seen at the home on Laurel Drive. Our Maya Payton is joining us live at the Pendleton Police Department. Maya, you were at the scene earlier today. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Gabby and Rashad, I spoke to Jessica's mother as well as the police chief just moments ago. Now, the chief tells me earlier today they had a continuation of the search near Twins Lake. That happened earlier today, as well as a search at Jessica's home that she shares with her husband. Now, the chief tells me they were looking for clothing, phones, and any articles left behind. About an hour ago, we were over at Jessica's home where investigators made their way onto the property with documents and cameras. Officers mostly focusing their efforts at the back of the property where a yellow pool house is located. Chief Robert Crosby says that's where Jessica and her husband lives. Yesterday and today, law enforcement searched a wooded area near Twin Lake boat ramp. Well, the chief says it's an area where Jessica and her husband went often to fish and to camp. These searches continued on, and Jessica's mother waited patiently here at the police department. Well, Chief Crosby says Jessica was last seen in early August, leaving her home on Laurel Drive. He says she and
One of the things I did want to mention here, one of the good things with searching the house here also is it's not always, like I'm saying, hope is there no matter what. And the chance that she may have left or something like that. And that's where searches like this can also help. Okay. In a case like that, if maybe she wrote something down in a journal or something like that about what her plans were, or if they noticed certain clothes were missing or certain things. Okay. Yes, they can, evidence can end up going in any direction, but it also can help us understand more of what was going on at the time she disappeared.
Her husband were having a disagreement. Now, the chief told me today that her husband is not a suspect in this case. However, investigators do plan to speak with him again. Coming up in the next hour, we'll talk about, we'll hear from Jessica's mother. In Anderson County, I'm Maya Payton, WYFF News 4.
Okay, there we go. So that's the other video I wanted to share out. So yeah, definitely because they live in a pool house. Yeah, that does make sense now, doesn't it? Wow. I didn't even hear that word earlier until now. I'm like, oh yeah, that does work. So, and so it'll be interesting to see what was pulled together from that. Now, for this next bit, first of all, like Chicken Lady said, you know, especially when we're dealing with exes, you always have to take everything with a grain of salt. Okay, that's what the police have to do. When the police are interviewing people, they also have to do that too, to try to wade through where the truths are, where, okay, the lies may be. And however, it's very important at the same point to be able to make certain connections, because many of us, when we have certain behaviors in our life, they're going to repeat. Yes, a lot of us can change, and many people do change. They really do. And but there's a lot of people who don't change. And it's important to know where the past is so you can either not repeat it or recognize it if it's being repeated. So what happened is there is her, Brandon has a ex that he shares 2 children with. Her name is Catherine. And she left him in 2022. Now, the reason why I kind of put a little bit more into this is that she has actually shared a protection order with the media to show, okay, to kind of back up some of what she is sharing. Now, we also know, okay, a lot of times there's even protection order. You've always got to take things a little bit. So I understand what you're talking about, my dear. However, what she says kind of does put me on alert a little bit more. She claims during her time with him, and again, they have 2 children together, he cut her off from her family and friends. Okay, he broke her phone and he blocked her relatives and friends that were on social media. And now, why does that kind of ring an alarm for me? One of the things I had noticed, one friend of hers from a long time ago had said, is that she seemed to not be posting as much on the internet over the last year. And so I'm starting to notice where maybe she's not, okay, is there a change in behavior going on that kind of matches this? And also, her family, okay, if what I'm seeing is correct, initially the posters we were seeing were saying her ex-boyfriend. And that was because no one knew they had gotten married earlier this year. Sleuth, let me know if that's incorrect. I haven't been able to prove that as incorrect yet, I still I'm not 100% on that, but from what I've seen, it does seem to fall together so far. And that, again, another mirror. If he was cutting her, attempting to distance her, okay, meaning Catherine, from other people, I am right. Okay, got it. So we're seeing this just repeating itself here, which is enough to make me think, okay, yeah, possibly here. He also reports, okay, that he assaulted her in Maine, okay, at a really sensitive time of her life. Okay, he accused her of eating too much. It was very, very emotionally, mentally, verbally, physically abusive. She was awarded a protection order against him. And when she saw and heard about Jessica, she started to see similarities in what she was reading online with her own story. So she made the decision that, you know what, I need to come forward. I need to come forward because, again, this is building red flags. This is building more of those things that the police need to know about. Okay, other people need to know. So when I talk about that past abuse, that's exactly where I'm talking about. Is that area? What we got? Chicken Lady. Yes, and that's it. And that's the reason why I honestly felt a little more comfortable coming forward with that, was it can be backed up there. So important to recognize on that. So what has come out with this is family continues trying to get the word out. Her mom continues trying to leave messages for her. Okay. And her family is just trying to keep the story out there. They let people know if anyone has any information or anything to let Chief Robert Crosby know at 864-646-9409. Okay, or you can email him at townofpendleton.org. So Sleuth is saying she also was a little separated already from some because she lived with her dad from 14 to 18. Okay, yeah, that would definitely do it. As she started this relationship already in a vulnerable state with less, yeah. And when you're dealing with DV, those relationships become key. Your relationships are the people that you vent to, that you go to and you can ask for help from, or who can help talk you into that next step of leaving. Okay, those connections are so important. And I did see, like I said, I saw someone who had been friends with her at one time say that she had noticed that in the last year, posting just was not the same as it used to be. And also you can see the changes in the behavior there. Family has put out, let me see if I come up with it. Yep, here we go. A statement. The statement actually came out this morning. So I wanted to, as we kind of pull this together, I definitely wanted to share this out because this is coming from her mom and her siblings. And this morning at 8 a.m., I hate when that happens. Okay, there. As a family, we want to express our deep appreciation for the overwhelming outpouring of prayers, love, and concern for Jessica during this incredibly difficult time. We are deeply moved by the support from our community, friends, and those who have reached out to show they care for Jessica. While we cannot comment on the progress of the investigation into her disappearance, we can confirm that no suspect or persons of interest have been named by law enforcement at this time. The case remains very active, and authorities are continuing to work this case as a missing person. We are hopeful for answers and remain steadfast in our faith that God will continue to guide us through this difficult time as we search for her. He has proven to be our grace, our strength, and our tower, and we will continue to embody that as we wait for her safe return. We ask for continued prayers and privacy as we navigate this challenging journey. Thank you for standing with us for #Justice for Jessica Barnes. With love, Cecilia and her and siblings. And guys, these are the messages that are important. I know Misha's family's put out the message is the same. This is a family that shows me that they right now believe, okay, and support what law enforcement is doing. They know law enforcement has their loved ones back. Okay, and that's important. They are asking people to please, okay, respect what is going on right now. Social, the problem with coming to social media on these cases a lot of times is while social media gives you the view that is needed, okay, the ability, the platform to share stuff, okay, it also brings tons of things that no one should have to deal with. People digging into backgrounds that should not be being dug into, okay, people trolling people, making phone calls that are just sickening, okay, it just people who don't understand boundaries, things like that. So I ask, and I know anyone who follows this, please, please respect the family. Chicken Lady is asking, how old is the husband? I noticed she's 20, but he's old enough to have kids with. Yeah, I've noticed that. I have not seen his age anywhere. I probably missed it somewhere. I don't know, Sleuth, if you happen to know his age. He definitely sounds like he might be a little older than her. I don't know by how much though. Is it just a couple of years? But with 2 children, that's okay, unless they're twins or something like that. Okay, it's at least 2 more years there. Again, though, we don't know, did it start younger or whatever. But the behaviors and stuff like that, yeah, it's something's off within this. I do have to say, my gut is in that area. I'm not sure. If I find out the age, I'll send you a message and I'll let you know. Trying to give, in case Sleuth does know the answer, give her a chance to get back on that one. But that also shows a difference. I'll be honest, when a young woman starts dating someone who might be, and I'm not saying he is much older than her, but if he is older, a lot of times it also changes that dynamic. You just read he's 21, so he started early. Okay, there, yeah, he definitely. Okay, so forget the idea of him being older and that kind of authority type figure and everything. So yeah, he started early is what he did there. So we'll see. I know Sleuth is doing a lot of research into this case also, and we'll be covering it also. So please keep an eye over on her side also. But I really wanted to kind of come in here and look at what is actually, let me actually pull up her poster one more time, because she is either out there herself or someone knows something. Like in Misha's case, we're talking a couple weeks that he was roaming around the place, setting up a story, whatever it was. People would have seen a vehicle, things like that. And that's why it's important to keep that word out there. Either way, okay, someone out there saw something. Okay, whether they've seen her now. And if Jessica, you're out there, please contact your family, your mom and your siblings or the police, and just let them know you're safe. You're safe. And you'll come home when you're able to come home. And because I know they love you. Okay, that I can see when I see that message that her mom leaves. You can see it. You can see the love there. And so please, please do that. But in the meantime, help get the word out about Jessica. Help us share her picture. Help us share her story, especially if you're in South Carolina, Michigan, any of the areas in there, okay? Because either he was out there covering up stuff or she is out there, okay, finding herself a place where she's safe. And so if you guys can help us out with that. So again, thank you guys so much. Cassie, you want to say goodbye to everyone? You're sitting here growling at your brother and your mom. Yeah, I can hear you growling. She's growling at Pia. I don't know where Pia is. So, oh, no, Wrigley's there. That's who she's growling. Yeah, she won't let anyone sit with me. Oh, it's too much. Did I squeeze the little one too much? Yeah, you're a big baby. You're a big baby. So bye-bye, and I will see you guys Wednesday. Hopefully Sleuth and I will be over on my channel this week. I don't want kisses like that right now. No, I don't. No, I don't. I wish I could get Wrigley up here, but you get mad at me if I pick Wrigley up right now, wouldn't you? So anyhow, love all of you guys. Please, as okay, Kim's doing there, please keep prayers going for the family, for Jessica. Okay, we know how much faith God means to them. Okay, it is the greatest gift you can give to them right now. The best way you can help them is just keep them in your prayers. Okay, pray that law enforcement is able to get to the bottom of where she is and bring peace to this family. And you say bye-bye. They're calling you a cutie pie. You're being called a cutie pie. So yeah, say goodbye. And also, okay, love you all tons, and I will see you Wednesday.